Well, that we live in, for lack of a better term, a white guilt world. What is Mr. Biden doing? Does he really deeply care about Black America and the problems that we have there? Or is he using our pain as a kind of advertisement of his own moral vanity? And he hopes that he's looking for the moral vanity that he thinks will translate into votes and get him elected and so forth. Does he know anything at all, really, about the difficulties that Black Americans face now? Many of which have nothing in the world to do with racism. Well, it's that sort of white guilt exploitation of black pain that's not dissimilar to what segregation did. It also exploited blacks in a much more obvious way. But in either case, we end up as blacks dependent on what people like Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, American liberalism, what those things do. We, in a sense, are dependent on them, and we are trained and encouraged to see our opportunity through them. We have to pressure them and get them to make our lives better. It's not something we do ourselves. White guilt, white guilt operates by, the arm of white guilt is always deference, where where whites win their innocence and their power by deferring to some difficulty that minorities have. Well, we've had 60 years of deference. The Great Society programs, war on poverty, affirmative action, school busing, public housing, all that we've had all of that. We're farther behind now than we were back then, back in the 50s and the early 60s. Because it's not about us. It's about this governor winning power for himself, appeasing what he thinks his voters want to hear. We're a tool that he uses in that sense.
One of the things that I know you would like to see more focus on, based on what I've read of your writing, is the element of fathers missing from so many African-American families. There are numbers as high as 70% children growing up without father figures in their home. Is that something that is missing from the dialogue here that you'd like to hear more of? You say the government is not going to read your child a book at night.
That's right. That's absolutely right. We're sitting here talking about what's going on in Minneapolis, and as horrible as that is, and I have nothing against that. True horror, and we're right to take note of it. But, excuse me, it's not the central problem that Black America has. Our central problem is a breakdown of the family. 75% of all black children are born out of wedlock. They don't have a father. There are very few men around in the community. When I was growing up, men were everywhere. Everybody had a dad. A good one or a bad one, but they had one. Right. They perform a great service to the community. They're irreplaceable. There's no social program, government intervention that's going to take the place of that. We as black people need to put more focus and use our imagination to reinforce the institution of marriage and family. That right there, think of the kind of improvement that would make. And I'd much rather see us talk about that than, again, about the police.